Just as jellyfish and woodpeckers and ostriches have no rights, Homo sapiens have no rights also.
I can't believe this guy.
And that is the key. That is the key.
Right there. You just saw the heart of the beast. We're going to talk about a number of things today. So we have Awakened with JP on the channel. We love JP. JP has a way of kind of sharing the truth in a way that with a lot of sarcasm. I love it.
And humor.
Yeah. She's perfect. All right. Let's take a listen to this video, and we'll be talking at the same time. We share some thoughts at the end, okay?
Just as jellyfish and woodpeckers and ostriches have no rights, Homo sapiens have no rights also.
People have no rights? Yeah, I'm on board with that. Would you mind burning this copy of the Bill of Rights? I don't think it ever existed. Good evening and welcome to We Lie to You News. The GOP race is heating up to the temperature of assassination to set the stage for the upcoming 2024 election, aka the next phase of the Civil War. We'll have a mostly censored report on what's going on there, along with breaking news from the World Economic Forum on what they're going to take away from you next, which is only all of your human rights. A 50-year-old man is now competing in swimming as a 13-year-old girl, and we'll also give you the rundown on a man competing as Michelle Obama in the 2024 election. Secrets out. We'll have all of that and potentially less in tonight's broadcast.
Who do you think? Who do you think the man is? Is he talking about? Oh, what a jab! What a jab!
Oh man, that was so good.
At first, in my ignorant mind, I thought of Barack Obama, and then I paused and I'm like, no, not Barack Obama.
No.
Do you really believe these allegations to be true? Do you really believe that? Do you think it's just another conspiracy? You know.
Well, I mean, you look at the body structure and some of the photos that have been taken. It seems like there's a little something down there that shouldn't be.
Yeah, I mean,
when they wear a tight dress, I mean, it's like.
Yeah, I hope this wasn't photoshopped. When I first saw that one picture, I was like, "That's kind of looks strange," you know. People do a lot of stuff online with pictures, so I'm like, I hope somebody didn't just, put something.
No, there was genuine, because it was actually from a news source that actually reported on the whole situation with her giving a speech and everything, and that was her walking off stage from giving a speech. I use the term "her" very loosely, because and then somebody walked through. I watched another video where they walk through the different bodily proportions of men versus women.
Yeah,
the shoulders are way too broad, dude.
Wow,
way too broad, and the jawline doesn't match up. It doesn't fit. There's something funky going on. There's just some things you just can't hide.
Yeah. I really hope and pray that's not what it is, but it wouldn't shock me anyway, because what was the name of the guy who came out? Sinclair, and said that he had a whole lot of fun with Mr. Obama and stuff, and there was a lot of party going on and things that we can't even mention here. We are Christians, but
I mean, even Obama himself said that he wouldn't be opposed to being with the guy.
Oh, yeah. That says a lot. All right, let's get back.
Starters out. We'll have all of that and potentially less in tonight's broadcast, starting with assassination threats. Alex Soros, acclaimed for nothing and only known for being the son of communist mega donor George Soros, recently made some waves with a felony offense that he'll definitely be getting away with. Alex Soros recently released this tweet, claiming that the crime and inflation problems that have been plaguing the nation have now been remedied. Based on the review of our definitely independent...
Yo, have you heard this guy talk? Have you heard Alex Soros talk? Have you ever heard him speak? I will do you a favor by sharing with you his speech pattern, I had a hard time. And I know I'm not the smartest kid around. I could not understand a single thing he was trying to talk about. Anyway, I had a video of him just talking. There we go. So you trying to digest some of that. Let me see how much of it could you understand.
But you know, I don't think that that's the fundamental. I don't think the technology is the fundamental issue in democracy. Democracy is messy. I mean, you know, democracy is about contestation of ideas. It's about plurality. It's about people having different truths. Actually, now, fundamentally, how society lives together civically in those contestations is obviously quite tricky. But I think that if we play too much on this disinformation card, we're taking responsibility away from ourselves to actually create a narrative that inspires people to vote and to believe in democracy and democratic institutions. On the institutional part, I think that we can talk about institutions as these abstract things, but institutions are also about people. And we just heard this point about untrustworthy people, and we talked about things in the United States like checks and balances, which aren't written anywhere but are customs. And one man, Donald Trump, literally came in and just took that all away.
Okay. Do you understand what I'm saying?
I understand what you're saying. I don't understand what he's saying.
I had no idea. The only part that I picked up is that he's speaking against democracy, and he is saying check and balances is not something that is consequential today, and Donald Trump will come and take stuff away. Almost like he's speaking in favor of whatever he believes in. But Donald Trump, obviously, they're afraid of Trump because of what Trump can do and will do. Right. I think that's the only thing I picked up from the message. But I'm like, what's up with all this? I was like, listen, I'm not the smartest guy around, but I think I sound a little bit better than this. I know,
right?
I'm just not trying. This is like one of the richest men. You're looking at. I'm like, saying, well, these people. I mean, he got the wealth of his father and so on, and these guys are going to be making decisions on our behalf against our will, of course. And we're supposed to can't even put some coherent sentences together. I'm like, that's not a good look.
I'm sorry, dude sounded like he was having a stroke to me.
It's so sad, so sad. Anyway, just wanted to share that with you.
It has now been remedied. Based on the review of our definitely independent fact checkers, those claims are completely unfactual and therefore have been fact-checked as true. But the assassination-y threat comes in the pic he posted with his tweet, which is a photo of a bullet hole next to $47. Trump looking like the likely 47th president, even though in an effort to protect democracy, we're not going to let that happen, appears to be a threat to Trump's life. But after our trusted three-letter agencies assessed Soros's post, the same three-letter agencies that are likely responsible for the assassinations of a previous president, they surprisingly determined that there's no cause for them to take action. You're probably familiar with the saying that the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. And with George Soros and his son Alex, it's also apparent that the shit doesn't fall far from the anus. In other news, in the 13 to 15-year-old girls swimming division, there is a new 15-year-old girl making waves. Yeah, take a look.
The infamous 50-year-old man who identifies as a 13-year-old girl. That allows Nicholas to swim with the teenage girls. Oh, and by the way, change and shower with them as well.
That all checks out and is in...
You see, yes. There is no stopping. There is no stopping. This is so bad because what this shows is there is no end in point for this thing. It keeps. It's just where do you draw the line?
There.
Where do you draw the line?
Anytime a dude wants to join women's sports, that's where you draw the line. Anytime. You know what? You want to go live your life? That's fine.
Yeah.
Stop trying to force yourself into spaces that are for women and women only.
That's
That's not appropriate.
yeah.
You know
That's
what?
illusion.
You want a bathroom, you want a changing room, fine. You go get your own bathroom, you get your own changing room. We'll make a third bathroom for you. You know, you all can have your own fun in there.
That
Do
is
whatever needs to be done. But we're not going to sit here and we need to stop pandering to this. Oh my word.
we do need to. It has gone completely crazy. It has gone from just don't persecute me for being what I am and who I am to the point now I'm infiltrating. I'm sitting next to your daughter. I am gonna use the same bathroom and locker room as your daughters.
I'm
That is
sorry.
not good.
If I was one of the dads on that swim team, no.
Somebody say in a comment.
Pardon me. I'm a Christian man, but I'm just saying, hell.
Oh, yeah, of course. I mean, we better protect that family. We will not play this game. This screams predator, somebody says.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I feel the same way. Just saying, this is crazy nonsense.
Nicholas to swim with the teenage girls. Oh, and by the way, change and shower with them as well.
That all checks out and is inspiringly inclusive. And over the pond at this year's World Economic Forum meeting in Davos, what are the elites planning on taking away from you for your benefit? Answer: coffee. Take a look.
Basically, the coffee that we all drink emits between 15 and 20 tons of CO2 per ton of coffee. So we should all know that this is every time we drink coffee, we are basically putting CO2 into the atmosphere.
That gentleman.
Is this serious? I am so done. I am so done. See, this is what happens when rich men, north of rich men, got too much money. They don't know what to do with themselves, so they start taking away everything that belongs to the average man. This is what happens. And I think if there's a way we can defund these people by going and support other businesses, such as people who are on the right, Christian businesses, I think this is some of the ways we can push back against this. You know why they're doing this? It's because they are bored. They got so much money and they don't know what to do with themselves. And life is miserable when you are wealthy and you don't have a faith in Jesus. You act like this.
And they want control.
Of course. That's the reason why.
It's all about power and control.
Absolutely.
Over the masses.
You're not at peace with God. You got so much money. You have so much power and influence. And what do? I'm going to go for your coffee. So you wanted to go for our heating system at home. You wanted to go for our washer and dryer. You wanted to take away our stoves. Now nobody can eat cattle. Yeah, even our cattle. We can't eat meat, not even clean meat. Now, you're feeding us bugs. Now you want to take away. You want to take away coffee? Like, what did coffee do to you? It's like this goes to show you got some diabolical plans in your heart, my friend. That's what this shows.
Mm-hmm. Like, and that's really what it comes down to is like, that's all they want to do is just manipulate and control the masses, and we're nothing more than chattel to them.
That's crazy, man. And you can always see the kingdom of darkness behind the scene whenever people start acting like this. Somebody in the chat room said, Jane said, hell to the no.
Right.
I feel the same way. My wife and I, we like to use the word double hockey stick. H-E double hockey stick to the no. Anyway, have mercy.
Yeah, this is ridiculous. I mean, they're sitting there doing this stuff, and it's like, you know what? This is the part of their agenda of you will own nothing and be happy about it.
Yeah, it's true. It is a fascistic, a communistic kind of agenda. If you think about what they're pushing, it is fascism. It is Marxism. You know, so they don't really think you have a right to own anything unless you're living on a subscription based. You have to come to them for just about everything, and everything you own belongs to somebody else. So you have no right to owning anything. You know, I hope I can still own my wife and children. But anyway, yeah, it's just crazy to me. This is the devil's kingdom, because whenever you are putting yourself in somebody else's freedom of conscience, you are infiltrating that area. you're automatically crossing a line that God never intended for any man to do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's the problem. This is how you know you're dealing with the devil's kingdom right there.
How does the verse go? Live in the world, but be not of it.
Yeah, correct. Anyway,
CO2 per ton of coffee. So we should all know that this is every time we drink coffee, we are basically putting CO2 into the atmosphere.
That gentleman who flew in his private jet from overseas to a private jet airport in Switzerland and then took a helicopter from that airport to Davos is morally rooted enough in his quest to reduce CO2 emissions that he was willing to take on the burden of telling the public that they can't have coffee anymore. And I am grateful for his service to humanity. Meanwhile, World Economic Forum figurehead Dr. Noah Yuval Harari had
Hold on a second before we get on to him. They do realize that we do need CO2 in the atmosphere for, like plants to grow, for foliage to grow. They're worried about deforestation and all this other stuff. Well, without CO2 in the air, trees ain't going to grow by themselves. You can't grow trees without CO2. So there has to be CO2 in the air.
Yeah.
It's just a basic fact of nature.
Yeah. I guess in the process of trying to fix one problem, they're going to create a much greater problem.
And this is the problem you run into whenever man tries to step in and control Mother Nature and the cycle of the planet. They mess it up. They make things worse.
Not only that, they're atheists in their thinking. So they don't believe in God. They don't believe that there is sin. We live in a sinful world and there is evil. They don't believe we are at war with the kingdom of darkness. So they think by just fixing nature, that's what the problem is. But there's a spiritual component to what's going on in the planet as well. So once you're done take away all the rights, all coffees, and you done do all that, guess what's going to happen? There will still be disasters. There will still be there will still be earthquakes. These things will still come. So what are you going to do next? What are you going to do next? Because once it's all said and done, supposedly your plan, let's just say you bring down emission to 0 point something as you've had in mind. And when it's all said and done and we still have these issues happening, what do? Do you go sit in a corner and lick your wound? Because you're not going to achieve anything, because what's happening in the world, in part, it is spiritual. Yeah, we can say men might have done things, doing things that I don't agree with, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's all men's fault. And the idea is man is the problem. I think eventually, just like some people are saying, well, if men is the problem, let's get rid of men. This is where you get the death cult concept, so anyway.
I mean, it's just so absurd that they're going to such lengths to do all this to lower CO2 and get all the carbon emissions down and blah, 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 blah. It's like you're a bunch of morons. The earth in its history has never been greener.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, maybe early on in its history, it's probably been greener. Like back when Adam and Eve roamed the earth.
Of course.
But since then, it started to come back around and repair itself.
Yeah. If you stop messing with it, though, stop.
But that's just it. You got to stop trying to control it and stop trying to play God.
Yeah, it's just crazy to me. But with all the changes that these guys have been doing since 1900s, have you noticed there's only been an increase in natural disasters and other things happening around the world? They haven't decreased any single thing. As a matter of fact, things have gotten worse. It's gotten worse. It has nothing to do with your situation and your plans. This is not to say you should not try to protect the earth. To me, they're going beyond protecting nature. They're going as far as taking away your rights to exist, to have free reign as a person. This is like, it goes to show that you guys are motivated by something demonic. You know that, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's like they're deliberately trying to destroy the earth. I mean, for crying out loud, Klaus Schwab wanted to put up a giant solar panel to block out the rays of the sun in space. It's like, are you retarded? We need that. You're trying to cause a permanent winter for everyone on the planet.
Mm-hmm.
It's like that's not how this works. We kind of need that giant bright bulb beacon in the
Yeah.
sky, you know.
Yeah. God had it set up there for a reason. You know, you can't do that.
You can't sit there and throw a cog in a finely tuned machine and expect it to still work.
Yeah. That's what they're about to do. Very, very dangerous.
Forum figurehead Dr. Noah Yuval Harari had this to say about human rights.
But human rights are just like heaven and like God. It's just a fictional story that we've invented and spread around. It may be a very nice story. It may be a very attractive story. We want to believe it. But it's just a story. It's not a reality. It is not a biological reality. Just as jellyfish and woodpeckers and ostriches have no rights, Homo sapiens have no rights also.
I can't believe this guy.
And that is the key.
That
is the
That
key.
right there, you just saw the heart of the beast. This is the breath of the dragon in your face. They're just telling you exactly what they're about. They don't think of you as a person with significance and value. He's spelling it out.
Mhm.
He's something else. He hides. He doesn't cover anything. I like people like this. At least we know what you're about.
At least we know where they stand.
You're not deceiving anybody. This is an honest man. I respect men like this. He's telling you, hey, this is what I'm about to do. This is what I think. This is how we feel about you. And nobody's in the crowd threw their shoes at him. Like, nobody said, what did... like, nobody said nothing. But anyway, I think some people might be thinking, like, is he serious? Like, who is he talking about? Is he comparing us to animals and insects and stuff? Are you serious right now? Oh.
But see, that's the thing is they stuff the crowd with people who are like-minded. So, you know, that's the problem. So that, he gets all the applause and like, oh, yes, you're so great. Mm-hmm, yes. It's wonderful.
The wise men of the earth.
I was like, no, you're a moron, dude.
You're out of your mind.
Shut up and get off the stage.
You're crazy.
Woodpeckers and ostriches have no rights. Homo sapiens have no rights also.
You don't really have to go to the trouble of taking...
I'm sorry. I am not on the same level as a woodpecker or an ostrich.
Yeah.
Okay. A woodpecker and an ostrich have two goals maybe three goals in life.
Mm-hmm.
Eat, breed,
Mm-hmm.
and survive.
True.
I have higher aspirations than that.
Absolutely.
I can formulate coherent thoughts. I can formulate complex thoughts. I can do complex math calculations.
Mm-hmm.
I have a higher consciousness than these creatures.
And you have the right to choose. A lot of these creatures operate on instinct.
Exactly.
So these are things you got to think about. You can even have a relationship with God. Animals can't do that. So it goes to show how it goes back to the theory of evolution, because a lot of these guys are operating from that baseline. And this is why you are hearing the perspective that supposes, Darwinism. This is actually the doctrine of Darwinism being, in front of your face here. So if you don't believe God created the world, you will have a low expectation and a low perception of humanity. Because if God is the creator, his value and our worth come from him. So if you remove God out of the picture, this is what you get. So these are the type of men that will support the Holocaust. These type of men will support anything. Because from their perspective, humanity we are not treasured. We are not worth of anything.
We're nothing more than cattle.
Yeah, that's why they will advocate for the population and so on. Because they look at us, we are the problem. We're not the solution to anything from their perspective. We are the problem. They are the solution. They have everything figured out, but we are the problems in the society. And it goes to show that, again, it goes back to the fact that they don't have faith in God. They don't know what the scripture says, and they don't believe that God created the world, and this is what you get.
And unfortunately for them, I think they don't realize how hard it's going to be when it comes to America when they want to implement all this stuff. Yeah, that's all well and good. There's a reason they hold all these summits over in Europe. They don't come to America to hold these summits.
Nope.
Because there are too many Americans that don't fall for this crap.
Oh no, they will kick you out of the room. Like you come to the United States and say what you just said here. See what happens.
Yeah. Like
If you
we
make it up-
believe in our Constitution, we believe in our Bill
Yeah.
of Rights that say all men endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable rights,
That's right.
for the pursuit of life, liberty, and
Pursuit of happiness. Mhm.
pursuit of happiness.
Mhm.
You know, I mean, that ain't gonna fly here.
No, Nope.
They
They're gonna
try
have
to
a really
implement
difficult time.
this. They try to
Even-
implement this stuff here. They are going to find that they are not going to.
Nope, you are not welcome.
No, not welcome at all.
Yeah, let's let him finish.
Homo sapiens have no rights also.
You know, you don't really have to go to the trouble of taking away human rights if you claim humans have no rights in the first place. Harari and the World Economic Forum, who are probably therefore not so much a fan of the Nuremberg Code, oddly enough support this 50-year-old man's right to compete as a 15-year-old girl and be naked in the locker room with his fellow teammates who are minors. Well, they might be minors, but they're also humans, which means they have no right to be protected from a perpetrator who does have a right to perpetrate them. And in national news, President Trump has won Iowa and New Hampshire by record margins, which is making us an even bigger fan of Alex Soros's tweet. President Trump had this to say after his record victory in New Hampshire.
Well, I want to thank everybody. This is a fantastic state. This is a great, great state. You know, we won New Hampshire 3 times now, 3.
You know what? Yeah, just cut that. You know what? We've got to take that off air. In our definitely good conscience, we can't allow you to see that. We here at the station that you outsource your thinking to will continue to monitor what Trump says. And if there's anything relevant, we'll allow you to hear us say what he said. So you'll know exactly what he said. That's the best way to do it. It's a fact that Trump is a fascist, and it would be too dangerous for us to allow you to hear his lies. As your trusted news source, we know that there's great consequences to broadcasting untrue things, and we would never do that. We take our dedication to censoring lies and only broadcasting true information to you.
You know, I know he's making reference to Rachel Maddow on the MSNBC Hee Haw. She has done this more than once, and I thought to myself, like, if you don't stop doing stuff like this, you know what, I'm not going to give any good suggestions, you know. So
This is why legacy media is dead.
Exactly, this is why nobody cares about the mainstream media network. They don't care, you know. And I don't mind them doing stuff like this, because that gives us traction. You know, we get to have people come in and listen to what we have to say, because we are genuine, we are honest, we are common people kind of thing. We're not paid by some elected bureaucrats. We're not supported or sponsored by anybody. No, we just go and talk to the people about what we think as human beings, and that's better than what you get from the mainstream media. So let her go on and keep doing this.
Mm-hmm.
And,
Yeah,
you know,
we keep it real around here. You know, we don't mince our words.
Nope.
You know, we just say it how we feel.
That's exactly right. But you know, the expectation they have of their audience too is very low, because it's like, if you think the individual can actually discern truth and error from the mouth of Trump, if you like, I have to block him from speaking because I don't want you guys to. What do you mean? Like, who do you have? A bunch of people who can't think for themselves? What do you have? Based on MPs who can't reason from cause to effect. They can't do any research to find out what the rest of the story is.
Right.
Like, that is such a poor expectation they have of their audience. You know, their audience should be really upset.
Yeah, it was like I was watching last night. I saw 2 videos, one from Forbes, and then I watched one from TYT about how Marjorie Taylor Greene was trying to censor Ilhan Omar and have her deported because she's a bad actor for Somalia.
She is.
And
I don't even know why the rights tolerate these behaviors. Because if she was on the right doing something like this, the left will just kick her out she'll be gone by now.
And the thing is the Young Turks were sticking up for, and they said that Marjorie Taylor Greene misquoted her because that's not what the translators from CNN said what she said. And I'm like, really? You're joking me, right? Because this CNN translators said that's not what she said.
Yeah.
It's like they're just playing with each other in a circle.
The young Turks are a joke.
I know. And I was reading some of the comments, and it's like, are you guys serious? Like, this guy is such a joke. Like, this guy is the one that needs to be deported.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Cenk Uygur has no common sense. Zero.
It wasn't even Cenk Uygur, though. That's the funny part.
It wasn't him.
No, it wasn't.
Was it Anna?
No, it wasn't either of them.
Oh, wow.
It was a completely different person. Somebody I'd never seen on there before.
Wow.
And that's one thing I thought was freaking hilarious, is that they turned around and took the quote from CNN, who was notorious for errors in their reporting and having to print retractions and everything else.
Yeah, all the time.
Whereas Marjorie Taylor Greene had, the transcripts from the government. Hello.
That is crazy.
And professional translators. Thank you very much. And was trying to bash her and saying that she's a racist and, blah, 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 this and that and the other thing. And it's like, okay, once you started calling her names and this and that and the other thing, you're done. You've already lost the argument.
That's it. All right.
Take our dedication to censoring lies and only broadcasting true information to you very seriously. This just in. This is a 15-year-old girl. Back to Trump. While we can't show you what Trump said, we can show you what Biden said.
We'll teach Donald Trump a valuable lesson. Don't mess with the men in America unless you want to get the benefit.
While we can show you what he said, we still don't know what he said. And in other GOP news,
okay, hold on.
Prior to New Hampshire,
these people are paid and bought and paid, right?
Believe it or not, I think I actually know what he said in that one.
Talks about women's right?
No. Don't mess with the men and women of America unless you want to get the benefit.
Oh, so that you have to decode that. Okay, thank you.
So listen very closely, because I think that's what he said. Don't mess with the men and women of America unless you want to get the benefit.
Don't mess with the men in America unless you want to get the benefit.
Okay. No, thank you so much. Yeah, for interpreting Joe Biden's words for me. Because that's just
sadly, I don't know if it's scary or I don't know if this is a good thing or a bad thing that I'm actually starting to understand what he's saying.
But I think that whole crowd behind him and in front of him, they probably had no idea what he said.
Meta, I don't know. I don't know what that means.
They probably thought, like, I need to make some noise. This is a good time for us to scream. So let's just yell.
Yeah, like he's starting to ramble. We need to shut him up. Let's yell. Yay!
Poor guy. Oh, my Lord.
While we can show you what he said, we still don't know what he said. And in other GOP news, prior to New Hampshire, Ron DeSantis dropped out. Nikki Haley claimed she's brown and tried to leverage it. And an actual brown guy who never tried to leverage it also dropped out. And as we're inspired by a 50-year-old man playing the role of a 15-year-old girl, we're also inspired by a man who's playing the role of Michelle Obama, whose secret plan that everybody already knew about to replace Biden as the Democratic nominee has apparently been leaked out to the public. So some people didn't know about that. But stay tuned, as we may be celebrating the triumphant achievement of breaking down barriers as a man may become the first female president. That's it for today's news. Enjoy your coffee while you can. Stop enjoying your human rights because they never existed. And I'll be competing in the 7-year-old girls division of MMA. And the threat of the public electing a president that they want to elect has never been greater. It's time to start thinking about how words are violence, but assassinations are not. And if that does happen, before we do it, we just want you to know that it wasn't us. Good night.
JP thumbnails, boy. That was good. That was a lot to work with here, but I'll tell you what, I have nothing else to add because it's just too much. Oh my Lord. Where do we go from here is the question. I have nothing else to add, to be honest with you.
Nah. that was just
yeah.
Just remember, this is a 15-year-old little girl. Like, dude,
The nonsense is wild over here.